Welcome back, I am Captain Cien, here to introduce my bed vehicle. First, let me explain what a bed vehicle is and what an RV, recreational vehicle, is. In general terms, a bed vehicle is a modified ordinary car, such as an off-road vehicle, van, or business vehicle, while an RV is the type of vehicle you are familiar with. In my understanding, the focus of an RV, recreational vehicle, and a bed vehicle is different. An RV typically emphasizes living space, while a bed vehicle focuses on driving, with some consideration for living. Therefore, the overall design of a bed vehicle must, first and foremost, be a legal modification, ensuring that everything is compliant. Another point is that it focuses on driving, convenience, and balancing sleeping, eating, and drinking. After many years of using a bed vehicle and going through numerous improvements and designs, I believe this current plan is the one I am most satisfied with, and you can refer to it. First of all, the bed. In a bed vehicle is usually achieved with a bed box, even if you place things flat. In the back, having a bed box allows you to store more items, so it's common to get a bed box. You can easily buy one on Taobao. Just search on Taobao based on your vehicle model. As long as it's a common off-road model, there will basically be a bed box available. Moreover, the designs are usually quite reasonable. However, the only thing to note is that the bed box must be the type that opens from the side, allowing you to access items from the side. Some bed box designs require you to access items from the top, which becomes very inconvenient once you place things on top. Another thing is the mattress. The mattress I use is Nox, inflatable sponge. It's about 600 or 700 yuan, 2 meters long, very good. This is the one I am most satisfied with. It doesn't have that memory foam feeling, and is exactly like the bed at home, plus it fits perfectly in the vehicle. I don't recommend using sleeping bags. They might be okay for 1 or 2 nights, but they're uncomfortable for long-term use. I use blankets and pillows from home in the car, and the pillow I have is a buckwheat pillow that costs $9.90. It's very comfortable, and the size is just right for the car. Since the space in the vehicle is limited, it's important to make the most of the available space. Usually, I hang up this small rack on the roof of the car. This thing also costs just a few bucks, but it's very useful. Placing some clothes and things on top doesn't affect your access to the clothesline. Sometimes you need to wash things and hang them up for a bit. The carbon monoxide alarm function. Test is normal. Using this in the car is always a safety measure. Then there's this sunshade, which I bought online for a very cheap price, just a few dozen yuan. It's very useful, because from the outside, you can't see inside at all. It's completely black. However, from the inside, it actually has quite good light transmission. It provides both sun protection and light permeability in certain specific situations. It can also serve as a screen, as it fits tightly inside. If you lower the outside window at this time, it can block mosquitoes, while still allowing for ventilation. This thing can solve a big problem for just a few dozen dollars. Another major issue is energy in the vehicle. In the past, I used to rely on gas tanks. I used to have a stove, but now I basically switched to using a mobile power station. This mobile power station is from EcoFlow and costs about 4,000 yuan. This should be the most expensive piece of equipment in my car, but it has a particularly big advantage. First, it has multiple functions. It has a light, a 100-watt C port, and a 300A port, with one of those being a fast charge. There's also a cigarette lighter outlet, and over here, there are two 220-volt outlets with a peak power of 600 watts, which I think is either 1,200 or 1,800 watts. I forgot. But the normal power is a 600-watt outlet, which solves all the problems in the car. To boil water, I used a 0.6-liter, 700-watt electric kettle. It's enough for one person to make tea, instant noodles, or other things. In the summer, I will bring a car refrigerator connected to the power station, and in the winter, I will use a car-compatible electric blanket. If you use that electric blanket with the vehicle's power outlet, this power station can last for about 6 hours, enough for a night's sleep. If you're using the refrigerator, it consumes about 30% of the power to keep it running overnight after turning off the engine. Boiling water takes about 10% of the power for one kettle. This way, you don't need to recharge energy on the road. As long as the car is running, it keeps charging. Another benefit of this is if you go to places with harsh weather like Tibet. When it's windy, rainy, or snowy outside, you don't have to go out to tend to the stove because, well, you have to start a fire outside the vehicle. You can boil water inside the car, and this has been the thing I am most satisfied with. Now, all the energy in my car for cooking, the refrigerator, and the electric blanket has been converted to electric power, and the results are great. Then this is the car refrigerator. That crossed Antarctica for me, and it has never broken down on all the rough roads. It's great. It usually stays around -5 degrees or -4 degrees. Especially in hot places, it's enjoyable. In principle, I don't bring hard cases. Everything I have is soft. The benefit of this is that if you feel there's not enough space when you sleep, you can squeeze a bit. This way, there is plenty of space, and I don't have to deliberately move things around. Since I am traveling alone, I don't rearrange the items inside. They stay the same every day, allowing me to access them easily. When it's time to sleep, I just need to crawl from the front to the back to rest. In certain places, if you sleep in a busy area, it can be safer and less noticeable, and relatively more comfortable, especially if it's raining or snowing outside. But is this something that can only be achieved by one person? If there are more people, it becomes unfeasible. Additionally, I usually bring an 18-liter bucket of water, or a slightly smaller one is also fine. This is because many places in Tibet and Xinjiang do not provide public water access. It's difficult to get water, so whenever I have the chance, I just take it and keep it in the car. This small table costs a few bucks on Pinduoduo, but it can also solve big problems. It can be placed on the steering wheel for use, and it is actually very stable. Well, whether using a computer or eating, the effect is very good. Here are some practical tips. For pain relief, you definitely need to bring a basin. Don't bring those outdoor folding basins that are like a piece of cloth. They are not very useful. Instead, just get a hard, collapsible basin from Pinduoduo for a few bucks. This is very useful. And also, you must bring slippers. There isn't really anything else that is absolutely necessary to bring. I usually take 2 recovery boards. But since I am quite cautious, I hardly ever get out, so I almost never use them.